Hello, hello, Cuddle Command. We are here at the end of yet another year lived on this heck of an earth. This is a morbid opening. Sorry, if my face looks a little red right now, it's because I just got done recording Danganronpa 2, part 55, and that game makes me blow steam out of my ears. Steam! Ha! Appropriate, topical. Anyway, we're doing this is a horrible intro. We're doing the Steam year in review like I did last year. I'd kind of like to make this a yearly thing because it was really fun. For the unaware, Steam does this little thing where it collects a bunch of data from games you played over the year and how you played them and etc. And you can consequently take a little trip down memory lane insofar as back one year and see what all you did that year. And so I thought we would do that, and I'd kind of just ramble about how my year's been, and feel free to let me know how yours has been, either in life or in gaming. Or sometimes the two are the same thing. I know for me that's very often the case. Oh, it's been a hell of a year, I tell ya. Before I get into all the statistics and everything. This was really the year of things breaking for me. And I don't mean that in a metaphorical sense at all. I mean, I had to replace a refrigerator, an oven, a microwave oven, 2 switch docks. I bought one to replace my failing one, and it came broken, so I bought a third. The same thing happened with mice. I bought a mouse to replace my breaking one, and a mouse arrived broken, so I had to buy a third. My keyboard broke down, and so I bought a new one of those. Oh yeah, I smashed my phone by accident around on Halloween, which was due in small part to the purple paint I had all over my body. I was like gingerly picking the phone up, trying not to get too much purple on it, and it slipped out of my hands onto the hard bathroom floor, wherein I was applying said purple paint. That one was my fault. Most of the rest of it was just planned obsolescence, I guess. Oh, the camera, right, of course. I think that happened this year. My old camera bugged out, stopped working mid Kingdom Hearts 2 recording. Anything else around here I replaced? I feel like I replaced like a handful of other smaller things aside from that. But yeah, this was the year of things breaking for me. That was the signature flavor of this year. The coffers were light, shall we say. The other signature flavor was we played a lot of games that made me really angry this year. I thought I was getting off light when we finished Ace Attorney 6 at the end of last year. And I was like, all right, fresh start, new year, new me. And then it was Kingdom Hearts 2, and then it was Danganronpa 1, and then it was Danganronpa 2. But I'm getting all that nonsense out of the way early on here because I wouldn't, the point I'm getting to is a happy point that I wouldn't trade it for the world, because there have also been many, many highs. I got to connect with a bunch of you over a bunch of very cool games in addition to the ones that made me angry. And even the ones that made me angry. I mean, it's important to experience things that you don't like, just to remind yourself what it feels like sometimes. Maybe I had a few too many reminders of what it feels like this year, but that's okay. Sometimes we don't get the balance right. What I really want from 2026 is a calm year. I want things to be much less active. I would love if I came out the other side of 2026 going, that sure was boring. Oh right, because I didn't even mention in September, part of the reason I've been struggling with uploads somewhat in the past few months, more so than usual, is in mid-September they came and told me that there was going to be some construction right outside Data Window, and they were like, but don't worry, it'll all be taken care of by Halloween, so you'll be able to invite all the little kiddies in and give them the candy and put up all your decorations, and it'll all be swell. This was mid-September. So they were like 6 weeks, in and out, easy, done. And then like October 20th rolled around, and they were like, 9 weeks, easy, in and out, done. And so fast forward, they just got done in the past week-ish, just a little bit before Christmas. So it was literally just like a practical thing of I can't record if there's banging going on right there. Less so because it would disturb me, and more because I can't be going, pancakes, video games, and scaring people off ladders and killing them. Generally, killing your fellow human beings is something you want to avoid. Also because I think they would probably call the police on me if they heard some of the stuff I yell. But anyway, high hopes for 2026 in terms of actually meeting my recording quota. It's all looking up from here. But first, it would behoove us to reminisce somewhat. Their like signature color is all very pink this year. It was sort of like turquoise-ish, bluish last year, I think. This is very like this vibrant magenta-ish color. So let's start with their statistics. This is more or less like what I remember from last year. So in total, we played 33 games, which was one more than last year. Small wins. We take them where we can take them. 15 of which were new. Wow, wait, so hang on. I opened. This says played, but that just means you opened them. So I opened like 18 games this year that I'd already played. What might those have been? So around Halloween, I sometimes, when Halloween comes around, I get a hankering to just blast through Five Nights at Freddy's 420 mode again and just see if I've still got it in me. So I did that. I reinstalled Five Nights at Freddy's 1 on like October 20th or something, and I was blasted right to like I used the developer commands to just like skip over to the final mode, and I actually managed to get it on my first go. I was so impressed with myself. I think it's the first time I've ever like in one sitting just sat down and cleared 420 on my first go. Mercifully, I recorded it. Anyway, I felt pertinent to bring up since I was just doing that for my own amusement. And I just happened to have Shadow Play on so I could record it because I was like, holy crap, I just got that like straight after install. I did run out of power though, but only for like 5 seconds. So that's one game I can think of that is one that we had played prior to this year. That I might have opened. I probably opened Yuminiki at some point when I was recording Yuminiki Online with my friend Magical Loon. Probably I opened it just to see if the chair scooching worked the same way, because I remember I was trying to scooch in the chair on the online version and I couldn't get it to work. But I'm like totally blanking on what other games that I've played before this year would I've opened this year. I suppose I probably did some Xrd in here and there. Guilty Gear, that is. And Celeste, I'd probably open that sometime this year. Undertale, I guess. Anyway, I'm sure we'll see. 198 achievements unlocked. It sure did not feel like that many. I can't, there must be a lot of those that were from like little indie games or something that gave you a lot of achievements, like too many. Because there were a few horror games we played where like they were only an hour long, and so they gave you like an achievement every chapter, and so we got like 6 from them. But apparently 60 of them were rare. Go us. Did we do any 100%ing this year? Was this wasn't the year we finished the Omori EX, was it? Oh, that was at the beginning of this year. We finished Celeste and Omori's EX playthroughs at the beginning of this year. So there would have been some rare achievements in there. In fact, this one was Omori's Terminus. It was just like 6 rare achievements back to back. I forgot that was like right at the beginning of this year. God, how is this year? How is this year? In terms of distribution, I was playing much... Oh, Hat in Time is another game that I would open. That was not a new game this year. I was majority playing with keyboard and mouse, which makes enough sense considering the games that had the most of my screen time this year. What games would I have been playing with a controller? The only thing I can think of is Hat in Time, actually. Or, no, I usually play Celeste with a controller also, I guess. So there's probably those two. And I did a fair bit of Ōkami with a controller. And speaking of, Ōkami is the game that had the most, the majority of our playtime. Or not the majority, but the most of any game. Which makes sense. It was fairly long, and we played it all the way through. We began it in February and finished it just like half a month ago or whatever. No, it was more than half a month now, but Okami was a fun-ass game. Certainly had some slow moments and some questionable writing choices here and there, but that was really, really a good time. And by the end, I felt like I was kind of surprised by the emotional connection I had to Amy as a character, because she's such a protagonist-y. She feels like such a blank slate protagonist for a lot of the time, even though the game is like very stealthily and subterfugally giving her character moments that you only notice in hindsight and stuff. Or that's how it felt to me anyway. But by the time I got to the end, I was like, oh my god, what a great character. Anyway, I love you, Amy. Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? It's you, isn't it? The next 2 games, appropriately by screen time, were Danganronpas 1 and 2. I'm not surprised that Danganronpa 2 has more hours. It only took me 26 sessions to complete Danganronpa 1. And really, it's probably fewer than that, because a few of those were probably like opening the game after the fact to get screenshots for thumbnails and whatever. And Danganronpa 2 we're still not quite done as of recording. I'm recording this on the 29th of December. Oh, which, by the way, I should have started with this. This was, I do this at the end of the year, and it's meant to be like a New Year's kind of thing, but it probably will go up a little later than New Year's for you, because I am behind on my editing. There's so much little hope to get through. Oh, the Danganronpa games. How I love you so much and hate you so much. But love is what I want to share to you, but sometimes I just hate you. I'm sorry. I want very much to love you. Know that it hurts me when I don't love you. Oh, that doesn't sound good at all. That sounded very dodgy when I said that. Very ominous and foreboding. It's a video game. It's a video game. Let's just remember it's a video game. Anyway, scroll past that before that was way more menacing than I meant to come across. How I compare Stack Your Year against the rest of the Steam community. So we unlocked 198 achievements. Apparently the Steam median was 11. Maybe people were not doing much gaming this year. 33 games, wowzer. I kept feeling like since we were playing so many long games, like Ōkami, Danganronpa 1 and 2 have taken, and Kingdom Hearts 2 for that matter, although that wasn't Steam. I've consumed so many hours of this channel that I was like, I don't know what the Steam year in review is going to look like this year. It's going to be just like 2 games. But 33 apparently we played. Granted, the Halloween marathon rounds that out a fair bit. Games outside of Steam that we played this year. So we were playing Kingdom Hearts 2 on Epic Games. Was I playing anything on console this year? I mean, I did a little replay of Super Mario Bros. Like a few days ago, but what in fact's name did I play this year? So there's less than we kicked off the year by finishing those 2 EX playthroughs. We had I Am Bread, a game that mostly didn't actually make me all that angry. There were a few moments. Then it was Umbra, Danganronpa, Kingdom Hearts 2. We had What Remains of Edith Finch. Ninja Gaiden's a game we played that was not on Steam. There you go. I think Ninja Gaiden and Kingdom Hearts 2 were the only 2, though. Is that right? Well, Missing the Distant Island. I mean, that was a short horror game for the marathon, and it was just a standalone executable. But in terms of like actual full playthroughs, I think Kingdom Hearts 2 and Ninja Gaiden were the only ones that were not on Steam. So you can just call that a 35 if you want to be serious. As for longest streak being 6 days, I'm actually surprised it was only that But that makes sense. It's very often that you wouldn't know it from this past year, but my goal is generally to upload one video a day, which means on average I'm recording and editing one video a day. But I usually don't divide it up like that because there are going to be days where construction, for instance, or whatever else is happening that makes it not viable, or I'm just not feeling it. So usually I'll record somewhere from 2 to 4 videos in a day, and then I spend the rest of the days editing. But it's not uncommon for me to do days where I will do a bit of both. So I'm kind of surprised that my longest streak was only 6 days, but apparently that is the Steam median, so there you go. Surprising absolutely no one. My division between new, recent, and classic games is decidedly on the classic side. It's fairly rare for me to jump on a new release in gaming, period, but especially on the channel, just because there are so many games out there that I desire to play, and I'm not desperate to... I don't get much FOMO for that sort of thing. Like, I definitely get it if it's a game I've been looking forward to. Like, that's part of why I hopped on day one Tears of the Kingdom and Pikmin 4 in the past few years, because those were like, if anyone spoils this for me, and I don't get to see it myself, I'm gonna be pretty miffed. I've been waiting for this. Incidentally, both games with some pretty major problems, but really, really fun games, those two. But anyway, yeah, so this is for new releases for games released in this year, and there's 1% of time was spent, so they're basically like a negligible amount. And I'm going to assume that was Without a Dawn? Or Sharks and Minnows also came out this year. It was some of the shorter horror stuff anyway, because I always like to try and mix in newer stuff with some of the older things. But 14% of Steam users, or rather 14% of Steam users' playtime en masse was spent in games released in 2025 this year. So a lot of people were playing the new releases. Although, that's still not loads. I guess the majority of playtime is spent by people who are playing something like Counter-Strike Original or like Team Fortress 2. Like, you know, older games that have like a huge following that you can easily put thousands of hours into. So I guess it's not surprising that this number is very small, but it's also not surprising that I am way below the median for this. As for recent games released in the past 1 to 7 years, some of the past 7 years, I don't know why I phrased it like that, 21% of my time was spent there, whereas it's 44% by all users. So what would this cover? Well, Celeste was 2017, right? So 2025, we're just out of that range now. That's now considered classic. Oh god, don't tell me that! But Omori, both of the Dark Pictures games, those were both in the last 7 years. Danganronpa was 2010, 2012, so it's not that. I guess it's just Omori and the Dark Pictures games that this is accounting for. Although 21% seems a bit high for that, considering... I mean, granted, I did spend a fair number of hours replaying stuff in Man Dance, there's that. But of course, the most of it is in classic games, which is where I spent 78% of my time, because Danganronpa and Ōkami are long games! Whereas 40% of the rest of the population is here. Actually, that sort of surprises me. I was anticipating classic would be the majority of the population. Because of, like I said, stuff like Counter-Strike and like games that never die that people put thousands of hours into. A game like that doesn't come around every 7 years, necessarily. But then I suppose a lot of people, video producers and otherwise, are jumping on new recent releases with, you know, in a sort of chain or a sequence. They've got a backlog of the last 5 years, whereas my backlog is from the beginning of time, like 1950s gaming. So I don't really discriminate. Anyway, this breakdown does not surprise me really at all. You are what you play. I am tower defense. Did I make that joke last year as well? I feel like I might have done. These numbers I feel like are not quite right. Games gifted 6. Let's see. I think that's a little low. It's something like, I usually get, buying like something like 16 gifts for Christmas gifts every year. And then a handful of birthdays throughout the year usually brings it up by... It's usually the same group of people, so it's like another 6, and then so it's usually something more like 12, I would think. You know what? I suppose this Steam year in review might be not counting, like it might have been set in stone by like December 20th or something, so it might not be including this year's Christmas gifts anyway. Similar for workshop item subscriptions, because anytime I'm playing a Hat in Time mod levels, I have to subscribe to the workshop items to get the new levels, so I would be sort of surprised if 2 was all it was. I mean, I know I just installed 3 games the other day for that Hat in Time mod levels run, so this can't be right. Unless doing it from in-game doesn't count as a subscription or something weird. Badges earned 2, I have no idea what that's about, whether that's one of those like weird get enough cards and you get a badge for a game thing, or if it was more of a like years of service type badge. I did not look because I have not cared in a while because I've been so busy with other things. But back to the genres here. So precision platformer, we're talking about Celeste there. Walking simulator, I suppose maybe they're counting the Dark Pictures games in there. I'm not sure what other game we would have played this year would have counted. Oh, well, What Remains of Edith Finch. Okay, there you go. Choices Matter, there you go. That'll be your Dark Pictures games. Stealth? Did I pop open MGS5 anytime this year? I might have done. Card game. Oh yeah, we did a bit of Balatro. I don't think this much, but I'm surprised the like mystery and 3D platformer are not in here for Ōkami and Danganronpa. I have no idea what it means by tower defense. I did open Plants vs. Zombies for like an hour. I think the spider graph is a little off, if I'm being brutally honest. I guess maybe it just doesn't have enough information on Danganronpa or Ōkami to call it, and so it's just excluding them. Weird. Let's take a closer look at your top play games. Oh, I'd love nothing more. I picked up this game for the first time and I was immediately hooked. Okay, well, I wouldn't say I was immediately hooked. I think you're mischaracterizing that. I would say by like the second dungeon, I was really, really into it. But you're discussing my playtime, and fair enough there. Apparently, we were playing a crap ton of this game in November. Is that when I swapped it to be the main playthrough then? It must be. Then again, we were playing a lot in July as well. Granted that in September and October, since the construction was going on through a lot of this, that throws the numbers off somewhat. My only streak was 2 days in a row, and that was probably not actually me playing 2 sessions one day after the other. That was probably something more like I was editing at like midnight and I wanted to get some footage of something in the game, and so I was recording through like 11:50 through to like 12:10 just to get like some footage to illustrate a point I was talking about or something, and so it counted as 2 days. Don't know, but we got a whole crap load of the achievements. You know, playing through the whole game will do that. Apparently this digging one was rare, which I thought was a little strange. Danganronpa 2 is the second most played. We started in August. Oh man, and it's been the double slot for basically this whole time, which is why it's got it's got huge bars all through this, but also because we only played it for the 5 months. This is where its playtime has been delegated. I love how it's like you picked up this game for the first time and you were immediately hooked, and then Danganronpa 2 is just like, you started this game in 2025. That is accurate. You are correct about that. Did we seriously only play Danganronpa 1 for 4 months? At the end of April to like mid-July? That's bonkers. Danganronpa 2! Take a hint! But then fourth up is Dark Pictures Anthology Man No. 10, which makes sense. We were doing a fair bit of playing, and there were some things that just took a lot of hours to do. 3-day streak. Now, there's no way that happened just by accident. I must have just been doing a whole lot of recording of it. Did we make it the double slot at some point? Yeah, we must have done. The same as I'm doing with Little Hope now. It accounted for 9% of the total playtime, which is kind of nuts when you consider there were only 16 episodes of it in the end. But granted, a lot of those were like, I play through the whole game in one episode, which is like 4.5 hours of footage. 23 sessions played to get through it all. How about that? Plants vs. Zombies Game of the Year edition. Gardening is supposed to be relaxing. Did I play it that much? 7% of total play? What the feck? What the hell was I doing in March? I don't remember playing it so much in March. Oh, apparently I've got a bunch of achievements that I hadn't gotten somehow before in Plants vs. Zombies. I guess I never really did play the PC port all that much. I always had it on like other things. So probably what happened was in March, I just like had one day where I was like, oh, wait a minute. Because it only 9 sessions played. I was like, hey, wait a minute. I'm missing a bunch of the achievements. I should just play through this whole game right now. What was I thinking? I also did, I was playing through a bit of it for one of the Omori meme dubs. Oh, I think maybe that was it. Was I missing footage? I didn't have unlocked the stage I wanted to use for that thing, so I had to like play through the whole game or something like that. That sounds like me. That sounds like something I would do. I didn't realize it was that much though, by any stretch, but now I understand why the tower defense was so high. This game does have a way of sucking you in, to be fair. Wow, it's so interesting to see all this though. So we're doing crap loads of Omori in January, and then that's when we started On Bread, and we were going pretty firmly into that. Oh, Getting Over It. There's another game we would have played this year that we had played previous years. What was I doing in Getting Over It? Is that when I recorded the Getting Over It But Again video earlier this year? Well, it was in April. Interesting. So that was probably just on my own time that I was doing that. I Am Bread was king for a bit. I thought we started Ōkami in February. Oh, I see. The first video went up in February, which means I probably would have recorded it in like late January. Right on. So Ōkami was taking up a lot of it for a time here. But what the hell? Why apparently March I was just playing a lot of Plants vs. Zombies? I don't remember that at all. I remember that only very sparingly. Oh, Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection. What was I playing that for? Oh, was the Gaming Pet Peeves video this year? No, that was last year. Oh no, sorry, it was Musical Flourishes. That was what it was. I used one like 3-second clip of Uncharted Lost Legacy in there, and I was all like, well, time to play all of Lost Legacy again, because I have no self-control. So it makes sense that it showed up here. 4 and Lost Legacy are so fun. So yeah, Omori, I Am Bread. Wait, what was I playing Omori for in March? If I finished the EX playthrough in January, probably for footage for the meme dub, actually. Now I think about it. Yeah, it must be, because Slender the Arrival is also here, and Doki Doki Literature Club, and I would have opened those games to also get footage for that meme dub, because there were some gags related to those games in there. So March was clearly the month where, yeah, that must be why I was playing Plants vs. Zombies, was for that like 10-second bit. I was like, I'll play through the whole game again, because that's sounds like me. I have no other choice. I'll throw myself upon this sword. Of playing through all of Uncharted Lost Legacy, Plants vs. Zombies, and Doki Doki Literature Club, and Slender the Arrival again. No, I didn't go through all of Slender and Doki Doki. Anyway, I'm Bread we finished off in April, so there was a lot of long days there where we were just trying to get all the achievements and things. And that's when we started Danganronpa 1, which consumed my life, heart, soul, and channel for, you know, this whole slew of 3 months, basically, during which time it constantly toyed with my emotions, sometimes intentionally and really well, and sometimes unintentionally. But Ōkami was also stewing in the background during that time, and of course, the odd getting over it run, Hat in Time mods, me randomly opening Celeste for fun, because I do, and some Guilty Gear, me randomly opening Guilty Gear for fun, as I do. Much the same through this, as mostly we're just focusing down Danganronpa and Ōkami. What else were we playing in June? Why are there only 2 games here? We were still playing through Kingdom Hearts 2. So that's probably what the 3rd game in that was, because we finished that in August. Balatro shows up here. Hello, you. What's up, Jimbo? Now, why would I have opened the Phoenix Wright trilogy and Apollo Justice trilogy at this time? I have no idea. I can't bring to mind a reason. What was I doing? Just goofing around, I guess. I just wanted to hear Maya's voice. Apparently, I played a bunch more Balatro in August as well. Well, we only recorded 2 videos of it, did it? Or did we even do 2? Yeah, we did, okay. Wait, 25% of this month's playtime was in Balatro? That must mean I didn't record very much at all during this time. But why not? What was I up to? I did have a lot of all kinds of, like, family emergency type interruptions. Usually not of the serious variety. Just of, like, I suddenly need to move house, please come help me lift a bunch of couches and stuff type of thing this year. So there was a lot of interruptions to my workflow in that sense. So that might be why it's less that I played a lot of Balatro and more that I didn't play a lot of anything in this month. That could be it. And in September is where we started Dark Pictures, Man and Medan, which obviously took a fair bit of our time, being a very significant and time-consuming kind of game. Oh, and by this point we'd finished Danganronpa 1 and moved on to the second one. Feels like it was just yesterday. The only other games were Guilty Gear Xrd and Balatro again. What did I open Balatro for? Just to look at my collection or something, clearly. Because the playtime is so small. Finished Man and Medan in here, so we would have started Little Hope, I suppose. Or no, we only just started Little Hope. No, sorry, Man and Medan carried on into December, right? We only finished it like a week or 2 ago. A whole bunch of other little games in here, though. Left 4 Dead 2. Oh, right, I was watching some gameplay of it, and I had a random hankering to see if I could solo one of the chapters. I didn't manage it. I got kind of close, though. I got to like 2 checkpoints in, and then I was like, it's 3 a.m. I've died like 40 times. I'll leave it for another day. What did I open Saints Row for? Oh, right, for the Kinsey, what a fuck thing for what's it called? Is It Woke? And of course, you can't see all of them here, but you see it goes Dark Deception and then 5 more. This was when I was doing my little Halloween marathon and stuff. But apparently about 18% of our total playtime was in November. Probably this is when the construction started slowing off a little as it started snowing and things. I would get the odd day where there was no construction now, which is like, go, 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 and I'd record for like 10 hours a day. So I could keep things even slightly progressing forward. During which time, lots of Man and Medan, Danganronpa 2, and Ōkami, which makes enough sense. Ōkami became our double slot somewhere around there. Here's your Orc and Axe in the end. And as always, some more Hat in Time, some more Getting Over It, some more Celeste, some more Undertale. And December so far, oh yeah, I did open it for Plants vs. Zombies for a few hours the other day. Apropos of basically nothing. But mostly Man and Medan, and Danganronpa 2 and Ōkami. But of course, we also started Eve just at the end of this year, which has been such a delight so far. Looks like we'll be finishing it just around the start of the new year. It's going to be a bit like last year where like it was like right in January we finished a bunch of playthroughs and got to a bunch of new stuff, which kind of feels fresh and delightful starting off the new year with a bunch of new games and stuff. Considering we're really close to the end of Danganronpa 2 and Eve and Little Hope. We've only the Dark Pictures games don't take months and months and months to complete, so we're probably going to be doing a lot of swapping out of games real soon. But yeah, that was the playtime division. Oh, and of course I would have been playing the Dark Pictures games with the controller for most of the time because the keyboard controls are broken. Silly Admiral. So I played 8 games with controller. Ōkami, Man and Medan, I Am Bread, Celeste, Hat in Time. Those ones I could have told you. Which were the other 3? Oh, I would have been playing... If I was playing Guilty Gear, I would have played it with a controller, because I can't... some people are good with the keyboard, using a keyboard like a fight stick, but I am not one of those people. So that would make 6. Little Hope is also in here, I guess. I don't know if it's counting it. It depends when this was done. That would be 7. What would be the 8th game that I was using a controller for? I suppose it's possible that I just had a controller plugged in while I opened another game or something. Not sure what the 8th game would have been. Longest daily streak, during which I played Saints Row 4, Getting Over It, Undertale, and Assassin's Creed Origins Without a Dawn. So that was sometime in the end of sometime around Halloween anyway, a little bit. Oh, it even tells you October 25th to October 31st. So the reason I laughed in there looking at Assassin's Creed Origins is because I remember that. I didn't actually play any Assassin's Creed Origins on that day. I can't remember why I was trying to open it for some video, but I opened it and forgot that the way... This is one of those games where you open it and instead of opening the game, it opens a launcher that's like, sign into Ubisoft account. And I was like, fuck if I remember what that is. And I don't have time to deal with it right now, so I just gave up. I don't remember what I was trying to boot into it for, though. I think probably it was for, in Ōkami, I was mentioning something about how newer games, it's like, you open the map and there's just like a million, like, siege this fort icons all over. And it all feels so cluttered and obnoxious. I don't say that as someone who's like, I'm not... I don't like to think of myself as one of those people who's like, new game's bad, old game's good, or anything like that. But that's an element that is frequently in new games that I have distaste for. That wasn't so common in older games. I think I was probably trying to draw that comparison and open the game for that reason, but then when it looked like it was going to take one iota of effort, I gave up. Oh, this is much more clean than all the stuff I was just guessing at. This is going to actually take us through a timeline of the year. So, at the beginning of the year, we were finishing off Omori and Celeste's EX playthroughs. I played a bunch of Metal Gear Solid 5, apparently. That's just usually a given. We started I Am Bread, or we would have started it, I guess, at the end of last year, maybe. Since it doesn't say first played in 2025. We did start Okami, though. Oh, I see. I hadn't actually opened Legacy of Thieves on Steam before. So that was also probably part of why I was like, I'm just going to play all of Lost Legacy again. Because I was like, I want to see how it looks on my shiny PC. Well, I say shiny. This game thing was built in like 2019, and it was just pretty decent at that time. So it's not top of the line by any stretch, but it looked better than it did on PS4 anyway, is the point. And that already was pretty good looking. So that was exciting for me personally. I'm just glad I chose Lost Legacy to do because it's like half the length of 4, and if I had started 4, I would have needed to finish it, and I would have lost a few days. So I Am Bread again. Hat in Time's always just floating around there. As is Metal Gear Solid 5. Apparently, I played a lot of Plants vs. Zombies in March. You know what it might be? I sometimes do this. It's usually rare. I'll like fall asleep playing a game, and so that might be why there's a lot of playtime. It's been a while though. Anyway, in March, there's all this stuff again. Like we said, a lot of this was for the Omori meme dub. We started Danganronpa in here, and that carries on. The pattern continues. The pattern continues. We started What Remains of Edith Finch and Balatro in here in July. For some reason, I was opening Ace Attorney games. Oh, was I maybe opening Ace Attorney, drawing the comparison? Right, because we finished Danganronpa 1 in July, and at the end of that game, I was like, I would have liked if the contradictions were a little punchier, like an Ace Attorney, where it goes, objection! So I was probably trying to get footage of that as an illustration. And I just like to gather my own footage rather than get stuff online because you can fall into a habit that way. Anyway, Danganronpa, Balatro, Ōkami, Man in Pajamas started. Yeah, we've already kind of covered through all this. And here's some horror games for Halloween. Sharks and Minnows. Brr. You know what? Looking back on that, I feel like if I went back to that, I wouldn't be as like unable to progress. But I think I'd have a better handle on it now, having like seen it and had time to compartmentalize it. But man, that really set off my borderline salacophobia. I don't tend to say I actually have salacophobia because a phobia is a medical disorder. It impacts your life very significantly and regularly, and I don't think my thing with sharks does that. It's like a phobic-like response where it's like uncontrollable for like the first few seconds. Just seeing a picture of a shark, I'm like, God! But I can like get hold of it and then I'm okay, which I think is a sign that I don't actually have a phobia. I'm just a coward. But yeah, that Sharks and Minnows really set that off. The ambience and sound design was, anyway, let's stop talking about it. More Ōkami, Danganronpa, blah, 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 and starting Eve, right, as well as Little Hope. And that was that, my friends. That was the end of the list. I do like this feature that they've added. It's a nice little thing. And it's just a good feeling to look back on it all and be like, wow, we actually did do a fair bit this year, didn't we, huh? And on that note, like I was saying in the beginning, if you have any gaming accomplishments or tales of this year you'd like to share with us down you know where, then feel free. But otherwise, regular interruptions and exhaustion aside, this is a pretty nice year. Well, this was a passable year. I'm looking forward to 2026. I think it must be better. I think it just must. And as ever, thank you all so very much for being here and sharing your lovely hearts with the world. Yes, don't think I'm not talking about you. Your heart's beautiful. Look at it right now. I mean, don't cut anything, but just metaphorically look at it. You'll see it's beautiful. You'll see what I see, I'm sure. And that is all for now. Hopefully I managed to get this up by December 31st. Probably won't. It'll probably be like January 2nd or 3rd. But happy New Year and happy holidays to you. Next video on the channel is going to be a compilation of out of context moments, which feels like a good way to start off the year. And that's all for now. Thank you so very much for coming around. Hopefully I'll see you around. Admiral's gonna be out of here now. Peace!
Getting Andrew's double tested.
Let's do that.
For sure. Let's start with Mary. How was
Yes,
that?
we do, Andrew.
It's just a theory. Another theory was setting fire to the doll to get rid of Mary.
And then look how that worked out.